Hello, and today I'll introduce to you the TV series Miami Vice 1984. I'll tell you about the original names and ages of the actors and how they changed in 2022. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to support us. Alright, let's get started. Detective Gina Calabrese is played by Sandra Santiago. She is a brave female detective. After her divorce from Crockett, she has a brief romance with him. Although their relationship did not progress, they still had a strong friendship. In 1984, she was 27 years old and now she is 65 years old.
Oh, I don't know how to break this to you, Professor.
Not a problem with the money.
No. You're under arrest.
I'm a pretty legit singer. I've done about 3 musicals.
Detective Ricardo Tubbs is played by Philip Michael Thomas. He is a former New York police detective who has come to Miami for personal revenge against Calderon, who murdered his brother Rafael. After temporarily partnering with Crockett, Tubbs took his friend's advice and moved on to a career in Southern law enforcement. In 1984, he was 35 years old and now he's 73 years old.
Harrison gave up my family, man.
And he'll pay. But not like this, buddy.
Well, you did wonderful, but there's only one thing I would suggest that you do. Yes. When you turn around with your gun.
Yeah, well, show me then.
Okay.
We can show this.
You have to do this. You have to say.
Detective James Crockett is played by Don Johnson. He's an undercover detective for the Metro-Dade Police Department, a former Florida Gators University White Star receiver. He suffered a knee injury, which ended his athletic career. He has served 2 tours in Vietnam, as he calls the Southeast Asia Conference. In 1984, Don Johnson was 35 years old and now he's 73 years old.
Special Agent Harrison.
Popular guy with Vice this morning. What'd you do, bust his bookie?
Another Vice cop was here this morning?
In Miami, I mean, it wasn't really sort of thought out. It was just organic. I started just removing articles of clothing.
And the movie's called Cold in July.
Detective Larry Zito is played by John Deal. He is a detective, surveillance partner, and best friend of Sweetak. He was killed in the line of duty when a drug dealer gave him a fatal overdose. In 1984, he was 34 years old and now he's 72 years old.
Okay. No ties. If you don't like it, we'll get you somebody else.
For myself, for my character, partner, Switek and Zito. So I was a little discouraged with that.
Lieutenant Martin Castillo is played by Edward Jim Olmos, a man of few words. Castillo lives a reclusive life outside of work. He was previously a DEA agent in Southeast Asia's Golden Triangle in the late 1970s. During his time with the DEA, he opposed the CIA's support of the heroin trade to finance overseas operations. In 1984, he was 37 years old and now he's 75 years old.
You're also a compulsive gambler. I've known about this for a long time. I should have talked to you about it, but I didn't. An addiction like that, a man in your position. And it was an offer that, when I looked at it, they were offering me, I think, 18 shows.
Detective Stan Sweetak is played by Michael Talbot. He's a fellow detective and best friend of Larry Zito. Despite being a good cop, later in the series he falls prey into a gambling addiction. He's also a big fan of Elvis Presley. In 1984, he was 29 years old and now he's 67 years old.
Absolutely not. I'm clean now. And even if I were dirty, I'd never give up my partners.
And I should have had my own show. And it's great. It's great to be back. It's not snowing. There's not a foot of snow on the ground. It's a beautiful.
Caroline Crockett is played by Belinda Montgomery. She is Crockett's ex-wife who moved to Ocala, Florida to remarry and raise their child Billy. Caroline is having a baby with her second husband in her last appearance. In 1984, she was 34 years old and now she's 72 years old.
Must have driven all night. Well, come in. And I would get on a horse and I'd start to post because I knew from English writing. I lived in London, England as
Itzy Moreno is played by Martin Ferrero. He's a fast-talking and petty criminal. Itzy has always been known for his quick money schemes and providing Crockett and Tubbs with the latest from the street. In 1984, he was 37 years old and now he's 75 years old.
I know it. Wait, you think this is money die, right? No, man, you got it all very wrong. You jumped to a very big conclusion here. Genius, Stan Winston, his team, and Santa Flo.
Mary McDermott is played by Marion Plunkett. She's a colleague of Mark Sr. and friends of the Jurgensons family. In 1984, she was 31 years old and now she's 69 years old.
Yeah, I know. I'm meeting him. I heard about last night.
one story, you know, a simple relationship, one story with Fred Rogers and the journalist.
Caitlin Davies is played by Sheena Easton. She's a pop singer appointed as a police bodyguard because of her testimony in a fraud case. While protecting Caitlin, Sonny falls in love with her and they get married. Months after their marriage, Caitlin was killed by one of Crockett's old enemies. Sonny later found out that she was 7 weeks pregnant, making him more confused. In 1987, she was 28 years old and now she's 63 years old.
Some 6'4", lantern-jawed guy with the singular virtue of being invisible and silent. What are you going to protect me with?
And I've been taking care of myself for a while, but the lawyer thing, I can't take 100% credit for that. That was because the record company executive at EMI who signed me.
Lieutenant Lou Rodriguez is played by Gregory Sierra. He's a police lieutenant holding the position of deputy commander. He is killed in the 4th episode by an assassin hired to kill Crockett. In 1984, he was 47 years old, and sadly he passed away on January 4th, 2021 at the age of 83.
With a lot of heavy boys down in Bogota, huh? Sometime drug deal middleman, believed to have residences in New York, Miami, and Puerto Rico.
Detective Trudy Joplin is played by Olivia Brown. She is Gina's patrol partner. Though tough, she sometimes struggles to deal with the consequences of her job, such as when she fatally shot a man. Later in the series, she encounters UFOs and an alien played by James Brown. In 1984, she was 24 years old and now she's 62 years old.
Tell me, where would you like me to pick you up?
You know the Park Grove Motel?
I can find it. Why don't I meet you there?
Neville Lamont is played by Charlie Barnett. He's a friend of Itzy's and an informant for Crockett and Tubbs. His role was largely taken by Itzy Moreno after the first season. In his final appearance in Season 4, his role was reduced from street informant to comic relief. In 1984, he was 30 years old, and sadly, he passed away on March 16, 1996 at the age of 41.
Yo, fellas, man, what's up? What's with the underwater phones, man? Hey, man, I'm on vacation, relaxing from the stress and strain of herbal existence. You know, easing up on the action.
Thank you for watching the whole video. If you like this video, please share it, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to support us in producing the next video.